Hello everyone, welcome to the Comic and Movie Show. My name's Deshaun, haven't made a video in a while, sorry about that. And I know there has been a couple big news. One happened today, but let's get to the big news that came out a day or two ago. Michael Keaton returning as the Batman. Yes, indeed. There is a rumor going around. Now, as far as we know right as of now, the rumor is Michael Keaton is in conversations. He hasn't signed on. No one has really talked about it. Nothing really official. Just, reports. A lot of reports from credible sources have said that he's in negotiations. Nothing's come out and said it. It hasn't been like, it's not like the time Tessa Thompson pretty much confirmed that, God damn it, I'm blanking on his name for all of a sudden. Not Matt Damon, but the other guy, Christian Bale. It's not like that time, Tessa Thompson confirmed that Christian Bale was coming on for Thor: Love and Thunder. You know, when it came out that Christian Bale was like rumored to be in conversations to be in Love and Thunder, and we really didn't know. And then, months later, she comes out and says, oh yeah, he's gonna be the villain, it's gonna be great. And it's like, she just confirmed that he's pretty much signed on to be the villain in Love and Thunder. But this isn't that situation, yes. As far as we know, only thing that we can say is that he is having conversations to return as the Batman. After that, it's very vague. At first they said he was coming in as the Batman in multiple different things in the Snyder Cut, and then now they're saying he's coming on and and today they just said that the conversation is him coming on to wear the bat suit and be Batman in the Flashpoint movie, the Flashpoint movie that was supposed to have come out I think a year ago. So, we know who knows what's with that and with the whole Ezra Miller thing. I'm going to get into something in a little bit that I'm going to just wrap into this video because I feel like it's all indicative of the same thing. But this news is kind of crazy. Like I said, it came out of nowhere. It hit people like a brick that Michael Keaton will be returning as Batman in some capacity. Now, the big rumor is that he will be the Nick Fury of this new multiverse world or whatever the fuck DC's doing, because nobody really knows. There's just a bunch of people blindlessly excited about something no one really knows for no apparent reason at all. But I'll get into that in a little bit, but we don't know. But apparently he's supposed to be the Nick Fury. He's supposed to be this wise, older superhero who knows all, and he's gonna mentor like a young Batwoman, a young Batgirl, a young Robin, and like another dimension Robin. He's gonna be like the mentor to multiple young heroes. Like, that's what they say he's gonna be, and like, that's the rumors. But of course, like many have pointed out, John Campea included and a couple others, no one really knows if he's even gonna do this. But more specifically, even if he does do it, no one really knows how big the role could be. It could literally be a cameo. Nobody knows. It's pretty much one of those things where fans got a hold of it and started just going crazy with it, and other YouTubers and other people got a hold of it as well and started boosting it up. But it's hard to tell if the so-called rumors are just theories being thrown out there. The only part of this that I completely believe is that he is in conversations to come back in some capacity, but I don't know what. And if you see anyone who says that they do know what, they're probably lying to you. They don't know how much he's coming back for either. Now, my thoughts on it is I don't quite understand it, to be frank with you. That movie, the last Michael Keaton's Batman movie, was a very long time ago, and it was very mixed, and it's to this day a very mixed movie. It's not, I wouldn't put, like, it's not in the same, like, I understand people who want Tobey Maguire to come back and cameo in a Spider-Verse live-action movie. Those movies are held at such a high regard. I don't think they're really controversial. At least Tobey Maguire's contribution wasn't super controversial. I can understand people wanting Hugh Jackman to come back and, play a role. There's a lot. I can understand people wanting Wesley Snipes to come back and play a role. Hell, I can even understand people wanting Henry Cavill to come back. Honestly, I made my video about it anyways. I didn't think he was the problem with those movies. He has a great Superman in him. I can even understand people want Ben Affleck to come back because I did not like BVS at all, but the one redeeming quality that I liked, at least his Bruce Wayne and his fighting, is his Batman. I thought if you toned down the killing people bits, he's perfect as He turns out that Ben Affleck was a damn good Batman if you turn those things down. But to me, this feels like DC throwing everything at the kitchen sink. Right now, there's this insane thing going on with DC. And like, I've mentioned it before, I've been in Dinner Nerds chats, I've been in Dinner Nerds chat rooms, I've been in many chat rooms, and there seems to be this, I don't know how to put it, this selective amnesia around DC right now. And I've talked about this before, but I'm really going to dive into it today, right here and now, because it's been on my mind for a bit. I've been working like a lot this week, so I haven't really been able to get around to doing it, but right now I can do it. There is this selective amnesia around DC, and what I mean by that is there is this vibe that I get off of people. If you take your mind back to when Justice League came out, nobody believed or trusted anything DC was saying or DC was going to do. Sure, did the Joker trailer come out and people got excited for the Joker trailer? Sure, but it was an Elseworld thing. Did Aquaman come out and make $1 billion? Sure, but it separated itself so far from the rest of the DCEU to the point where they barely mentioned anything from it, and they changed the rules that nobody really cared. Shazam came out, but they couldn't even afford to have Henry Cavill be in the movie, which almost made you go, okay, DC is going in a direction, which is what I thought was going in a direction where they're making one-off movies that are isolated in their bubble universes, and they will get around to it later. They'll get around to that later. They're going to play it cool right now. They're going to do one-off movies. They had successful movies. That's what they're going to do. And I was cool with that. But somewhere along the way, all of a sudden, like, there's this weird sympathy that came for DC. I don't know if any of you feel it. There's this sympathy, and like, as far as I can tell, there is this sympathetic guilt amongst fandom right now for how harsh they were on DC, on the DCEU, how harsh they were on Man of Steel, BVS, and Suicide Squad in particular. And Justice League, there is this vibe that's just out there right now that's like, poor DC. And like, I can feel it, because even when people, like right now, even all the YouTubers who once even had something negative to say about DC, when they're saying the negatives, it comes with caveats. Someone can say, I didn't love, Suicide Squad was a terrible movie, and then go, but this, and this. And I was like, okay. And for a while there, I never really cared. Like, I saw this coming. It's been ever since, I'd say Far From Home, this kind of sympathetic narrative had been playing on in the background. It had already been playing on right from the start of people, like, you know, right from the start of when I heard, like, Coy Jandreau, which is a guy I love, by the way. No disrespect to Coy Jandreau. He's a great, he's one of my favorite guys to watch. He's a huge nerd, and I love that guy. But when he was talking about Shazam, he was like, oh man, it's good to see a superhero movie about a kid with superpowers. And like, that was one of the things he said, and I was like, Marvel just did that. And that's the same thing I had with this whole fandom thing. I haven't made a video about it because I was just like, that's not news to me. Like the DC fandom event, I was like, awesome. Kevin Feige already did that. Like, Marvel did that already. Kevin Feige once just went, you know what? Fuck it. Pick a venue. I think it was the El Capitan. Pick a venue. We're gonna go there. We're gonna announce our shit. Tell Chadwick Boseman to show up. We're gonna announce him as Black Panther. We're gonna announce our whole goddamn Phase 3 slate. And just randomly, I remember it because I remember John Campea was still on AMC, and he was just like, "The fuck." All right, not a drill, and people just showed up. But he just did it randomly. It wasn't like some month build to him showing all this shit up. He just did it. That's what Marvel has done. And like, there's this crazy narrative right now. Right now, it's this thing where Marvel is this like big accomplished brother, and no one is impressed with whatever they do anymore. Like, no one's impressed that they have a cinematic universe that works and is well worked and has a great plan. No one's impressed with that anymore. And DC is this little brother who sucked. Well, only in terms of their DCEU movies, in terms of making a cinematic universe work. I still think that Wonder Woman is actually, as much shit as I talk about Wonder Woman, I do think it's a solid superhero movie. Shazam is a great to me, Shazam was definitely one of my favorite superhero movies of last year. And Aquaman was dumb, but kind of fun. I didn't like Birds of Prey at all, and I thought Joker was a well-made movie, but a little overhyped. So, overall, the last few years, they've made movies that I'm like, okay. Only movie they've made the last few years that I was like, I hate this, I really don't like it at all, is Birds of Prey. Other than that, even as, like I said, even as much shit as I talk about Wonder Woman and the Joker, I like both of those movies. I think both of those movies, I think Wonder Woman is a solid, okay superhero movie, and I think the Joker is a beautifully crafted movie. It's a little overblown and a little overrated. It's not as great as people think it is, but it's still a greatly directed movie, if that makes any sense. It's like the vision of how that movie was made makes it a good movie. But, and like I said, I thought they were going in this direction, and then all of a sudden, DC just starts throwing shit out there. Like, all of a sudden, like, they're like, oh, we're making this now. We're making this now. We're bringing in, we're doing Flashpoint. We're bringing this character in. Meanwhile, no one's talking about how Ezra Miller choked a girl, and no one's brought that up. Ezra Miller hasn't brought that up after he came back from his cult. Oh, I'm sorry, that's wrong actor, even though, would you be shocked? But Ezra Miller hasn't brought that up. DC hasn't brought that up. I'm just waiting for someone to debunk it. Like, I would be fine if Warner Brothers or Ezra Miller came out and went, oh, that was a joke, none of that happened. But as far as I know, the last thing I heard was the guy who owned the bar said that yes, Ezra Miller was here, yes, he was being heckled, and yes, he choked this girl. And they kicked them both out. That's what I saw. So, why is no one talking about this? There's all this conversation about this Flashpoint movie. A Flashpoint movie that's been pushed back and has multiple writers and directors on it, and no one's concerned. You don't hear any more concern from people. You don't hear any more people going, we'll see. There's this unbridled excitement that is completely unearned. DC has literally, you can have put up slates. The Cyborg and fucking Flash movie, we were supposed to have a Cyborg movie, a Flash movie, and a Justice League 2 by now. What happened to the goddamn Nightwing movie? What happened to the Batgirl movie? Like, what happened to Deathstroke being the main villain in Batman? Like, it's as if all of these things just kind of got brushed under, like I said, all of these things that make you have to be at least cautiously optimistic. But there is this notion going throughout fandom that DC is on the rise. DC is gonna do it. DC is gonna overtake Marvel. You see all these announcements they're making? Motherfucker, until they do something. Call me when that shit is on film. Call me when it's in front of me. I'm tired of people talking about DC's on the rise because they are making announcements. They have literally made slates that haven't played out. They have literally announced multiple things. The Flash movie has had multiple writers and multiple directors, including the lead actor, who should be questioned about how he assaulted someone. But no one's talking about that. What is going on with DC? If fucking Chris Evans had choked a woman, that shit would never slide. That's all people would talk about. Like I'm not understanding how this is working. I'm not understanding how this is working at all. Like, my mind is just kind of losing it. And I'm ranting on. I don't understand this rising hype of DC when they haven't actually done anything yet except announce a couple things. And then you have people, then you have people going back and rewriting history. All of a sudden, BVS isn't shit. Now, granted, I'll give you this. There are a lot of people who love BVS. There's a lot of people who love BVS. It can be considered controversial. Okay. BVS was supposed to rival the Avengers. BVS is supposed to make more than the Avengers. BVS is projected to make around something like $1.7, $1.8 billion. It didn't even make $900 million. It was projected softly to make $1 billion. Didn't even make $900 million. I mean, that movie came over $100 million short of what the studio wanted it to come to. It's a critically panned movie. And what Ultimate Cut is not that different than the original cut. Yes, there's more context to things. That's it. That's all the Ultimate Cut gives you is more context. I'm glad I got more context to the turd that's going down the toilet bowl. I'm glad I understand that the fluid system goes down and goes. I'm glad that I got to put a camera on the toilet bowl and see how far it went down and see it go out. I'm glad I got to see that. I didn't need to see that. I'm glad I understand now. I understand plumbing now. That's great. I'm happy about that. But it doesn't make it less shitty. It doesn't make it less of a piece of shit. It's just I understand how it became I understand this piece of shit a lot more than I did the first time. And like all of these directors, the Birds of Prey director, you got the dude who directed Suicide Squad, and Zack Snyder, all of them coming out here and pointing the finger at other people, bitching and moaning, going, it's their fault. It's his fault. It's his fault why this didn't work out. It's his fault. What the fuck is going over there at DC that makes everyone so excited when you have a bunch of whiny ass directors who can't even just take the responsibility and move on, bitching and moaning until they get their way? And it's like, dude, I don't hear the dude from who made Thor: The Dark World coming out going, Marvel done me wrong. I want my Dark World cut. My cut of the movie, twice as better. Hell, Josh Whedon came out a couple weeks ago and said the original cut of Avengers was over 3 hours long. You don't see him going, I want my Avengers cut. You don't see that shit over there, man. You don't see Josh Whedon, I want my Age of Ultron cut. You don't see that shit anywhere. Not really, other than the whole Josh Trank thing with Fantastic Four, but that's a whole different can of worms. That shit is crazy. That's a video on its own, that. But I don't get it. There's so much chaos over there at DC. So much chaos. So much shit being thrown. So much shit being thrown at the wall. They announced the Snyder Cut. They announced the Snyder Cut not because they give a rat's ass about the Snyder Cut or because they think that it's good. They announced it to get more subscribers for HBO Max and to get the fanboys. If they thought it was that good, that shit would have come out immediately after Justice League, the same way the Ultimate Cut did. But they didn't think it was good. That's why it did not. But I digress. What do you guys think of this Michael Keaton news? To me, personally, I don't give a rat's ass. I'll wait to see. I'll wait to see if it actually happens. I'm waiting to see actions. Words mean nothing to me. Announcements mean nothing to me when it comes to DC. They've done this a million times before. I don't know why you would trust it now. Thank you guys for coming to Come Again Movie Show. Please like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one, people. Goodbye.